The biggest difference is I'm reading. I have begun writing in notebooks. I am back counting my podcast and did the math to figure out where these documents are because I have numbers down so I could match them. And labeling. So those are all great skills. I'll do a quick little video about the numbers and then we'll get right into it. The first thing you hear is an elevated triggered state because as I've stated, this is Smarter Than Trauma. I'm your hostess, Smart EMC, as I do the methodology live. The biggest difference today is Chicago Public Schools, Chicago Parks District, Chicago Teacher Union, and now specifically Jim Green have been called. All right, I'm going to try utilizing the internet again. It's a little tricky for me, but you got to just try, right? All right, I think I said it, but if not, this is Smarter Than Trauma. I am Smarty MC. This is podcast 12. We got stuck on 1-1 because 111 is a connection to somebody from my open mic because the instructions were to choose a name tag based on your identity. Blue, if you're a survivor of assault, emotional, sexual, physical, etc. Green, if you're a loved one of a survivor, because you have some growth to do. That drops the seeds for Elcott Schools marketing. And gray, if you don't want to share yet. So he chose a gray name tag to indicate to me he wasn't ready to share. So I was listening, and he definitely said it. I'm going through some mental issues. So I followed up with them as an advocate because that's what I do. And that's why I said, don't give me your name because I'll be obligated to share mine. And that's why I created this entire open mic to get back to my first name. Thank you. The seeds are for composition 5. Stay alive. Where exactly? In this dating game. And that's when I'll let them, the bachelors and bachelorettes, describe it. Thank you.
The issue is it doesn't go away because that's what happened, and that's when I changed my behavior months ago. I'm not stuck on it. I want you to acknowledge it and know if you're going to or not. And so the answer is no, you're not. Got it. So did you forget? And if you truly forgot, then all right, there's your trauma. And that's what I write about. I can take it, except you weren't genuine and why you were absolutely manipulative with the coffee and other things.
There's a concentrated smell of... A lot of it was because it was crusted gross under the mat and rug. That fuzzball I took out, that was just from vacuuming the rug in there. That's what I mean. Do you want to see it again? I've never had the vacuum be so stuffed with dust. I was just like shaking it.
Man, I had no idea.
It's going to be much cleaner now. See, look, I use these products.
You're too nice.
All right, so I've spent some time listening to news media, both sides reporting on the same topic. And it's true, you need to really do research to understand the timeline because people's memories of stuff seems to not exist. They can make up a new excuse. So I think that's what the purpose of PTSD is. So the event that I'm in the live moment with is the death of the Queen. And before that was a podcast with Meghan Markle. And the 3 words were ambition, diva, and the third one, I don't know what it is, but based on the topic of choosing husband, having your husband choose you, being lucky, I don't know. I feel like the word is going to be wife. So yes, everything in the world is a trigger. That's when I interrupted 2 psychiatrists at Northwestern Memorial Hospital saying, no, specifically what you're doing is a trigger, which is denial. But yes, I'll use their words since their words have been in my head ever since they said it. And why? We owe it to each other to really take our time to choose our words correctly. The truth will absolutely come back and bite. I had met someone dating and they wanted to go to a country and they were acting like we should go together, we should travel together. I'm thinking, no, I don't think so. You've never traveled alone? Where do you want to go? And they were a little shy telling me. These are the memories. I am Asian. Well, they didn't want to sound like and now I have 1, 2, 3 podcasts to do seamlessly to get into that number. They mentioned the country. Need to get to right now. It's all up in my YouTube. Got to listen to my voice. Go find it. What country am I talking about? You kind of got to trick yourself to do it the first time. I write it. I knew I'd spew it. That's how you hear your voice for the first time.
All right, here it is again.
But you need a second go to really show that you know the flow and the intro. Now are we ready to go? That means we're going to listen to it and do YouTube, you bet. It is the first step to get rid of it, and yet
I can't understand why I just can't let it. How do you unwind trauma? Describe the triggers. Isolate the triggers. Go on and on and on and on and press on the fasted joint triggers if you have fasted joint muscle release issues, and call out the liars who are in positions to make decisions for others that are 100% risk and vulnerable populations. Thank you. And please donate to my charity on GoFundMe. I'll put the link in the description. $1 for a truck. That I care about when I'm not mentally ill. I had an injury and I'm literally recovered from it now. And I do like I do sound just up. Yeah, I'm done. So you guys don't know me as a teacher. Or you told me.
As I edit this movie, what I'm doing is basically
Get go to really show that you know the flow and the intro. Now are we ready to go? That means we're gonna listen to it and do YouTube, you bet.
basically exposing myself to it, as well as words like transitions, titles, audio, my media, lower, and then a lot of different action words like expand, pop up, reveal. So sometimes I think some of these words were meant to be in my face over and over as I edit, because it is allowing that prolonged exposure therapy, which is the most effective treatment for PTSD. So what we're looking at now is one of my clients who has an interest in truck driving. So the GoFundMe is called $1 for a truck. It was the first space that I wrote in publicly, and why I wanted to attach it to that important cause.
Because there's no point, you know? Trauma can't be solvable, so it was just throwing it all into education and things. So yeah, so I think I figured it out. So I guess the only question is,
I'm not
won that
touching the
thing
door.
because he was won the charity raffle that year. It was like kind of cool, and I said I love that happened.
Please have a side,
4
guys.
months
You
to
need
say
to pull
he
the door
donated
closed.
to the charity. I find out he never donated. It's not charity. Memories kept popping up. Something about Africa, children. Computer. He has a school in Africa. He stayed with us. Made up the narrative that he knew I'd like. Threatened me with that. No, I'm on the board. Yeah, I'm on the board. People in the neighborhood notice this guy. He's on the corner. He's built himself a little house. He can't sleep next to the fence because of the rats.
The purpose of anyone is generalization. So if you hear someone talking about generalizations, we're going to focus now on mental health. And the only thing I wanted to really draw your attention to in this entire 8 or so minute presentation of trauma are the words Queen's Jubilee, That's the date that I can go back and see how long ago, because I've been pretty much trying to stay on top of all of this. Now, in conclusion, recognizing, I think the purpose was to find that podcast, not to listen to it, but to realize she talks about ambition and not knowing the word, and yet I learned the word ambition literally in Chicago in a way that I decided that you learn by the opposite, and that drops the seed for how never to buy a house. Thank you.